Hello friends, how's it going? I hope you are well. I was thinking that I should stop saying at the end of some of my videos things like, I'll see you on Friday with a car boot sale video, because that's what I said in my previous video, and obviously it's not Friday and obviously it's not a car boot sale video. I didn't post the car boot sale video because usually when I'm showing you a haul, I try to list those things on my website at the same time so that they are available for you if anyone is interested. And I couldn't do that last week because I was busy with something else, which is launching my first art collection. And if you're following me on Instagram and Facebook, where I posted about this, you may have seen my artwork. But if you're only following me here on YouTube, then I want to share with you. They are already sold. They sold out within a few hours, which I'm so happy and so grateful. But yeah, I still want to just show you, to just brag with them here on YouTube as well. So this is one of them. This is the Observer. It's a tabby cat because we have a tabby cat. So I thought if no one wants it, I'll be happy to keep it because it looks very much like our own cat. And this is a freestanding frame. It's the only one. The rest are the rest can go on the wall. This is another one. This was the first one to go. It was snatched so fast. And yeah, someone was really waiting for it to go on the website. And then this one with the cherries. This one has a brass frame. This one has a resin frame. They are all thrifted frames that I gathered in time. This one with the tomatoes, this one with this cute little lamb. This is my favorite. It's so beautiful. I'm so proud of this one, and it makes me paint more sheep because look at this. It's so peaceful. These are oil paintings and I really love making these. They are so nice, and I've actually painted something else in the meantime, and I don't know if I will show you now or in my next video because it hasn't dried yet. And then this water lily. This is a wooden frame. You may remember this frame from a recent haul, the York car boot sale. It's so lovely. And two more. This one. This is actually the first oil painting that I made in this collection, and this frame was bought from another reseller on Instagram. And last but not least, this wonderful duck. This is my second favorite. It's just because I love just the colors and how peaceful it feels and the light. I'm very proud of this collection and I can't wait to make more. I don't know yet what I should paint next because I want them to be like a very themed collection. Was kind of random, but I want to make like sheep collection, or another one that I have in mind is food, because I know that if you remember, I offered Andy from All Put Together a mini painting with fish and chips last year, and I had a few people telling me that they were interested too. So, but I don't know if I should just paint fish and chips, like a whole bunch of them, or maybe fish and chips and then something else. I don't know. I'm open to suggestions. And another theme that I was thinking was a bird theme, because this little bird got a lot of love. And I know that there's a lot of people who love birds and I like them as well. So maybe make like a robin and a blue-tit and a, I don't know, chaffinch and whatever birds are more loved. There are so many things that I want to paint and so little time, but I'm learning to prioritize it. Sorry for all the rambling. I just wanted to show you what I was up to. But now, without further ado, let me show you what sold from my vintage shop last month. As usually, I will say them in the order that they sold, and I will also say where I bought them from and how much I paid for them if I still remember, and how much they sold for and where they went. So the first order was for 2 items. The first item was a brass quail partridge. I don't quite know. And I bought this one from Vinted. It came to about £6, I think. I bought a bigger bundle, 3 quails and 3 pigeons or doves, and I paid around £30 for this bundle of 6. So that comes to about £5 each, right? And it sold for £25. And the second item in this order was this studio pottery vase. I bought this from a car boot sale, and it was £2 or £3, and it sold for £30. And these 2 items went here in the UK. The next order was for 3 items. One of them is this wonderful brass Victorian hand paper clip. That's what I thought it was. And then I was told by someone in the comments that my Victorian paper clip is actually a glove holder. So that was really cool, and it actually makes sense because it looks like a glove. So yeah, I bought this one from Newark Antiques Fair. I paid £14 for it, and it sold for £45. Then there's this pair of 2 small ceramic dogs, definitely antique. I also bought these from Newark. I paid £10 for the pair, and they sold for £36 for the pair. And then there's this brass vase. I bought this from an antique center, and I paid £5 or £6 for it, and it sold for £25. And they went to a repeat buyer in the United States, California. And then there's an order for 2 items. One is an upholstered footstool. I also bought this from Newark. So these sales were immediately after I posted that Newark haul. So yeah, this one was from there. It was £20, and it sold for 120. And this pair of basic dogs, I bought this, actually my mom bought this for me from a charity shop, and she paid £8 for the pair, and they sold for £50. And they went to the United States, Alabama, to another repeat buyer. Then there's this lovely wooden stand for a vase or a statue or whatever, and I bought this from Newark as well. It was £5. It sold for £20, and it went here in the UK to a repeat buyer. Then we have this brass trivet. I bought this from a car boot sale. It was £1. This was actually bought by my youngest daughter, and this is all her profit. It sold for £15, and it went to the United States, Oregon, to a repeat buyer. The next order was for 3 items. One of them is this brass bell that I bought from Newark. I paid £5 for it, I think, and it sold for £17. Then this ornate candle holder made of brass, it's also from Newark, and it was £2, and it sold for £17 as well. And oh, it's actually 4 items, not 3. 2 brass doves that I bought from Vinted with the quail that I mentioned earlier. So they were £5 each, and they sold for £25 each. And these 4 items went here in the UK to a repeat buyer. Then we have this ceiling light. I think it's French, and it's made of brass. I bought this from Newark Antiques Fair, but not now in March, but in last year in August. So I've had it in my shop for such a long time because, I don't know, it was an impulse buy. I loved the details on it, but it was incomplete. I paid £10 for it, and it sold for £20. So not a lot of profit, but I was happy to see it gone because, yeah, as I said, I made a mistake when I bought it, and it went to the United States, New Jersey. Then we have this wonderful magnifying glass that I bought from Newark. I paid £3 for it, and it sold for £25, and it went to the United States, California, to a regular buyer. Then there's this glass swan dish. This is also from Newark, actually from the same seller where I bought the magnifying glass from, and I paid £3 for it as well. It sold for £28, and it went here in the UK to another repeat buyer. The next order was for 2 listings. One of them was this set of teaspoons with that lovely ceramic detail on the handle. I bought them from that guy, that vintage dealer that invited me to shop his stock, and I paid £3 for the set, and they sold for £25. And the second item in this order is this magnolia plaque made of resin. It's vintage Marks and Spencer, and I bought it from a car boot sale, and it was £1, and it sold for £20, and they went here in the UK. Then we have this cast iron door stopper in the shape of a duck. It's wonderful, so beautiful. I bought this from a car boot sale. I paid £6 for it and it sold for £45 and it went to a repeat buyer here in the UK. Next is this Bible readings book from the late 1800s. I bought this from a car boot sale and I paid around £3 for it and it sold for £35 and it went to the United States, Georgia, to a repeat buyer. Then is this wonderful antique vase by Dalton Lambeth and I bought this from Newark Antiques Fair. I bought two identical vases for £55, so yeah, that comes to £27.50, and it sold for £150 and it went to the United States, Texas, to a repeat buyer, and the second one is still available in my shop if you're interested. The next order was for 3 listings. One of them was this pair of candle holders that I bought from a car boot sale. I paid £8 for the pair and they sold for £20. Not a lot of profit compared to other things, but I loved having them in my shop and they sold quickly and they were easy to ship, so I don't mind. And this set of antique plates, I bought them from a charity shop and I paid, I think, £3 for them and they sold for £30 and they went to the United States, California, to a repeat buyer. The next order was for 2 items as well. One of them was this cloisonne brass dish. I bought this from a car boot sale last year and I paid £2 for it and it sold for £15. It took a lot of time to sell and I don't know why. This brass cut letter holder, I don't know where I bought this from, I can't remember, and it sold for £17 and these 2 items went to Australia to a repeat buyer. Then there's another order for 2 items. One of them is this lovely floral oil painting. I bought this from a car boot sale last year and I paid £3 for it and it sold for £35. And this candle holder that I bought from a car boot sale, I paid £3 for it and it sold for £20 and these 2 items went to the United States, Pennsylvania. The next order was for 4 items. One of them is this vanity tray with embroidery. I bought this from an antique center and I thought it was so charming, so different. I paid £12 for it and it sold for £70. Then they also bought this footstool. I bought this from a car boot sale. I paid £9 for it and then I realized at home that it had a repair. So the wooden frame was broken at some point and it was glued back together, which I didn't see when I bought it and I didn't see when I was filming it in the haul, but I saw it when I took pictures of it for the listing. So it sold for £35. If it wasn't for that damage, I would have priced it higher, maybe at like 70 something or 60, I don't know. But yeah, with the damage, I just decided to price it at 35 to see it gone quickly, which thankfully happened. And then this tray that I bought from that same car boot sale and I paid £2 for it. If I remember correctly, it also has a little damage. It has a crack in it. It sold for £32. And this sugar bowl that I bought from the same car boot sale but on a different edition and I paid 50p for it and it sold for £15. And these 4 items went to the United States, North Carolina. Next we have an order for 2 items. One of them is this Staffordshire dog figurine. I bought this from that same car boot sale and I paid £11.50 for it and it sold for £70. I was so happy to find this figurine because I haven't found it before, so I know that it's kind of rare. And this set of 3 copper spirits ladles, I bought them from that car boot sale. I paid £10 for the set, I think, and they sold for £38 and they went to the United States, California, to a regular buyer. Next is this leather box with a silk print on the lid. I bought this from Newark Antiques Fair last year in August and I paid £5 for it and it sold for £25 and it went here in the UK. It took a long time to sell, so I don't know if I'm going to buy many boxes in the future. Just boxes in general don't sell that quickly. I know that other sellers do very well with boxes, but for me they sit quite a lot before they sell. They sell eventually, but not as quickly as I'd like. And then we have this brass door knocker that I bought from an auction, no, last year, I think. I can't even remember how much it came to because I wasn't actually planning to sell it. I was planning to keep it for a future house that I may have, I don't know, when I'm older. But then I decided to just let it go because it's silly to just hold on to it for years and years. And I listed it on my website, and I also listed it on Etsy, and it sold on Etsy for £95, and it went to the United States, Oregon. Then there's this pair of basic dogs. So this is the second pair of this kind of dogs that sold in May. And I bought these from a car boot sale. I paid £10 for them, and they sold for £50, and they went to the United States, Massachusetts. Next is this Mason's bowl in the fruit basket pattern. I bought this from an antique center, and I paid £2 for it. And I think it was priced this low because it has some manufacturing faults in the glaze and some crazing and some staining. So it had a lot of imperfections. And I priced it at £18, and it went to Australia to another reseller, and I put her Instagram handle on the screen if you want to check her account. And then there's this small milk glass swan dish. I bought this from a car boot sale, and it was actually free because I actually bought something else from that seller, and I think they thought that this one was worth nothing. And it sold for £18, and it went here in the UK. Next is this wooden cat figurine. I bought this from a charity shop, and I think it was £3 or 2, but I think it was £3, and it sold for £18, and it went here in the UK. Then there's this original drawing that I bought from a charity shop. I paid £5 for it, and it sold for £35, and it went to the United States, Illinois. And I've had this in my shop for the longest time. I don't know, it's not the longest time, but I've had it for a year at least. Then there's this brass cat trivet. I bought this from Newark Antiques Fair, and I paid £5 for it. It sold for £20. It went to the United States, Ohio. The next order was for 2 items. One of them was this cloisonne butterfly brooch. I bought this from an antique center, and I paid £3.33. I bought a bundle of 3 brooches for £10. That's why the price is a little funny. And it sold for £18. And this small brass dog, I can't even remember where I bought this from and how much I paid for it, but it sold for £18. And these 2 items went to the United States, Georgia. The next order was for 3 items. One of them is this brass turtle box, and I bought this from a flea market, and I paid £4 for it, and it sold for £25. Then there's this pair of brass pheasants. I bought them from a charity shop. Actually, my mom bought them for me, and she paid £10 for the pair, and they sold for £35. So I think it was worth it. And then this pair of oak candlesticks, I bought this from an auction. They came in a bundle, and they came to about £4.50 for the pair, and they sold for £40. And this went to the United States, Indiana. Then we have this lovely floral embroidery. I bought this from a car boot sale, and I can't remember how much I paid for it. Maybe £2 or £3, I would expect. And it sold for £20, and it went here in the UK to a repeat buyer. The next order was for 2 items. One of them was this Staffordshire dog. It's a large size, and I bought this from an auction. It was in a lot, so I can't remember how much it came to, but it sold for £70. And this trench art ashtray from the World War I. And again, I can't remember where I bought this from. Must have been an auction or a car boot sale. And it sold for £55, and these 2 items went to the United States, Ohio. The next order was on Etsy. So I only had 2 orders on Etsy last month, but they were nice. So the brass door knocker and this uranium glass and amber glass vase that I bought from Newark Antiques Fair, and I paid £3 for it, and it sold for £40. I actually had it priced at 50, I think, or 48, something like that. And they sent me a message if I can do 40 for them. So I thought, why not? I paid so little for it, so a sale is a sale. And it went here in the UK. And the last thing that I sold in April from my online shop was this cast iron soap holder with that cute little sheep on it. I bought this from a charity shop and I think it was £2. I've had it for a while before I listed it, so I can't remember exactly how much I paid, but I think it was £2 or £1.50. And I forgot to write down how much it sold for, but if I remember correctly, it was £20. I'll put it on the screen for you. And it went here in the UK to a repeat buyer. So this was everything that sold from my vintage shop in April. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a very good month for me. I'm very grateful for all the orders that I had. The big ones, the small ones, all of them made me happy. So thank you so much. Let me know which one of these things was your favorite, or if there's any order that surprised you, that maybe it sold more that you thought it would be worth, or maybe you think that I underpriced some of the things, because sometimes I'm told that you're underpricing, and sometimes I'm told, oh, you sell things for so much. It's eye-watering when I look at your prices. So I guess everyone has a different opinion, so I'm very curious to find out if you have an opinion like this. Some of my favorite sales were the Staffordshire dogs, the large one with the copper luster and the small ones with the little puppy, and that brass door knocker, because I loved it so much. And it's always nice to see that someone else loves it even more because they are willing to pay a high price for that thing that you personally love so much. But let me know your favorites. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!